Rapid7's dynamic application security testing solution, InsightAppSec, allows you to test your applications by interacting with it in ways similar to how a customer or attacker might. InsightAppSec works with both web applications with a front-end UI as well as APIs. InsightAppSec is a software as a service product hosted in AWS, and is made up of two primary components: a console, which allows users to do any activities needed for identifying and reviewing application security findings, and scan engines, which run the tests, more commonly called scans, against an organization's web applications. InsightAppSec allows your team to quickly see what's going on across your organization at a glance, using dashboards you can customize to your needs, be it tracking how many highs you have, what the most common issues are across your organization, or even identifying potentially high-risk applications at a glance. It can all be found here. You can jump directly from your dashboard to look at the information you care about most, such as using one of the dashboard cards for high-risk application assets to jump over to the application asset, so you can go in and look deeper. In InsightAppSec, applications, sometimes referred to as application assets, are how you group up the various scans and data related to a particular application within the solution. Think of an application asset like a container. You can adjust who has access to that asset and see high-level quick information about the state of the asset, such as if there are any high findings. In addition, teams have the ability to create and add tags to their application assets, similar to InsightVM or InsightCloudSec, to quickly identify your assets. Tags can be used to track a variety of info, like what domains an asset might belong to, or regulations tied to it, or even what infrastructure might be in use. You can also use these to track which assets tie back to your AWS, Azure, and other providers by doing things like adding the resource ID as a tag to the application asset in InsightAppSec. Within your application asset, you'll run scans to test your application and identify potential issues. These are handled by setting up scan configurations. An asset can have multiple scan configurations associated with it. For example, maybe you want to test both the front-end UI and your APIs, and you want to scan each separately to make it easier to figure out which findings correlate solely to your APIs and which correlate to the full application scanned via the front-end UI. With InsightAppSec, you can create scans for a wide range of web application types. When you set up a scan configuration in InsightAppSec, you have the ability to adjust nearly every aspect of your scan. For API scans, you can use the API docs and standards such as Swagger, WSDL, and GraphQL to help simplify setting up your scans by adding the information for them to your scan configuration, similar to this. If you're dealing with an application with a complex authentication scenario, you have the ability to either use separately or combine things like site authentication, server authentication like OAuth or MSOL, certificates, browser auth, even use things like JWT tokens, making it easier to get your scan authenticated so you can find as much as possible. You can also select what type of scan you want to do, allowing you to select a set of attacks matching the standards your organization wants to measure against. InsightAppSec provides a variety of attack templates to suit your needs. Also, many organizations have internal applications. If you fall into this group, no need to worry. InsightAppSec has you covered with a hybrid deployment model for scan engines. So you can either use the engines Rapid7 provides in AWS, or you can deploy scan engines on-prem in your own environment. Any scans you have configurations for can be run either ad hoc or scheduled via InsightAppSec's console. Additionally, there are also native integrations for Azure, GitHub, GitLab, Bamboo, and Jenkins, so your team can utilize their CI/CD solutions to kick off scans. You can even create your own scripts using the API and kick them off via something like Insight Connect. Now that we've looked at how we set this up, let's go look at the scans themselves. There are multiple ways you can look at the scans and review them for your organization. You can either look at them across your organization via the scans panel, or you can actually go and look at them just for a specific application, like we're doing here. A scan includes all of the information related to that particular run, from a quick look at the overall scan stats to actually being able to see the links crawled so you can check the scan's coverage. InsightAppSec also gives you the ability to see exactly which findings were identified as part of that scan, with some high-level information to help your team decide where they might want to dig into for more details. Accessing the additional information about a particular finding is easy in InsightAppSec. Just click on the finding in the list and it'll open a panel with more information. In the panel, you'll find a wide range of information to help you review your findings. From general information about the finding, such as current status, severity, type of finding, even when it was last found, as well as some additional information about the finding, such as an expanded description about what the finding actually is and recommendations around remediating it. You'll also find some additional capabilities to help your team work through a finding, like the ability to replay an attack locally on your computer, and the ability to go and look at the actual traffic used during the scan, both the requests and responses. You even have the ability to go in here and add comments to help you collaborate across your organization, which is great for tracking updates and changes if you need to worry about audits. One other thing of note, findings from InsightAppSec can be exported into Jira or ServiceNow, or you can generate a CSV for your team to use for tracking. We've looked at findings directly from the scan, but you can also look at the findings across the organization by using the vulnerabilities panel in InsightAppSec. While InsightAppSec has multiple ways for you to pull out and track your findings in InsightAppSec and via other systems, you can also pull reports for your organization. Reports can be generated both via InsightAppSec's UI and the API, allowing teams to pull the information they need however they prefer to actually get it, and making it possible to automate creating and sending reports via scripts. InsightAppSec has a variety of reports for you and your team to use, from things like an executive report that you can use with your management to just review at a high level how your organization or a particular app is doing, to something like a high-level compliance report, where you want to just look and see a quick feel about how you'd hold up if you had to deal with an audit tied to a particular set of regulations. There's also a detailed vulnerabilities with remediation report, which allows you and your team to get the information needed for actually reviewing and remediating the issues identified to the people who actually need it. For more information, go to rapid7.com, and to learn more about this product, request a free trial for InsightAppSec.